JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 28th of October 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course, our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So, now then, jumping into the charts, a quick update again on Nikkei 225. So yep, this one is, well, had drifted lower. Kind of this downside line continued to provide resistance, as you can see here, and it fell back below this 21-day EMA. However, as I've mentioned before, that in order for me to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside, I would rather see a drop and a kind of close below this 28,581 zone right here. This way, more sellers might join in. So at the moment, let's be very careful. This whole area right here will be somewhat of a neutral one for me. Shanghai Composite, so drifting lower, continuing to drift lower, and yeah, so we broke this upside line. We drifted lower. We broke the 3,560 territory right here, and now it seems that yes, further declines could be possible. However, if you remember, I talked about this when I said that yes, initially I'll aim for this little territory, and if that gets broken, then I'll aim for the current lowest point of October near the 3,515 territory. And well, I mean, as you can see, so far this area did provide good support. And what I'm considering right now is, for example, if we do get a hold up somewhere around here, we might get a little rebound. And this way, yep, maybe, just maybe, we could see a little area here, like a little range forming. So let me just mark this one on the chart. This could be the upper side, and this could be the lower side. So even if we break this area, even if we break below this area, if the daily candle body cannot stay, and if the daily candle cannot close below this, we'll just class this as a false breakout, and we could see maybe a nice little reversal back to the upside. So keep that in mind. For now, one of the levels that I'm going to keep an eye on, of course, as well, is this one, the 3,553. You can see that it acted as a good area of support and then resistance today. So so if we pop back above it, at the same time we would pop back above the 100-day EMA, which maybe some of the buyers could see as a good opportunity to step in. However, again, this buyer activity might increase only within this pattern. So again, at the moment, I'm kind of considering, like I said, this to be maybe a little range here. But again, let's not rush into anything, because if it gets broken here and we stay below it, then yes, further declines are possible. Jumping into the German index DAX. So pushed higher initially, but yesterday we saw a bit of a decline, a bit of a retracement. However, as you can see, this 15,700 territory continued to provide support. Kind of looks a bit more on the positive side, of course, but let me just quickly have a look at the cash index. So we're currently trading below that area, slightly below that area, but still above this upside line. So I'm going to take a very cautiously bullish approach for now, because I don't want to rush into anything here. And basically, we did get a good run. We could still have that good run, don't get me wrong, but maybe just a little bit of a repositioning here from the bull side, I mean, could happen. So basically, we could see this one drifting a little bit lower, maybe testing this upside line, and then the bulls could step in and push this one higher. However, again, if that's not going to happen, if let's say somehow it just reverses and pushes back above the 15,700 territory, then all eyes are on this 15,792 zone, which I've mentioned before. So a nice good pop above that area might, open the door towards some higher levels. So keep that in mind, guys. Jumping into IBEX. So I've talked about this one yesterday, and as you can see, this highlighted area continues to do its job and provide good resistance. So can it do that? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But if you're looking for some upside, then probably the safer option here is to wait for a break of this area, just because it once again did provide resistance. I mean, once again, it is showing its strength. But if we do get a break of it, yes, then of course this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, especially if it pops above that 9,055 level, which is the highest point of September. And then yes, we could take it from there. For the downside, you can see that although we had a bit of a retracement, still this upside line did its job. So this upside line is taken from the low of the 1st of October, and I'm keeping an eye on it for now. So yep, even if, like I said, if we see another slide a little bit lower here, then we'll keep an eye on this upside line. And also, I would rather stick to a break of this barrier here. Oh, sorry, not barrier, hurdle this 8,892 in order to get a little bit more comfortable with lower levels. The S&P 500, very quickly on that one. So this is something that I mentioned yesterday as well, that keeping an eye on this upside line, and basically this could result in a bit of a decline, given that we have formed a bit of a shooting star here the day before that, so on Tuesday. We did see the decline, but we stayed above the highest point of September, near the 4,545 level. So 45, this level is the one to watch. The cash index right now, I think is going to be on the lower side a little bit. Let me just very quickly check. Yes, a little bit, not hugely. So we are actually around 4,555 level. So we're still kind of around the same level where we closed yesterday, and we remain above that 45 zone. If it stays above it, then we could see maybe a nice little reversal and a push back up. But if it drops below it, well, this is where it could become a little bit more tricky for a few more buyers, because if the more sellers could join in here, because they could see this as a good opportunity maybe to go for a bit of a retracement here towards this upside, towards this 21-day EMA initially. Yep, good morning to Evo. Yep, good morning to everybody else as well. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. Dxy Dollar Index, so continues to hold below this 93.988 level, the one that I marked recently in the beginning of this week. It drifted lower, but it's currently sitting above this 21-day EMA. Again, I don't want this to be the case, but again, we need to consider this. Maybe this could end up being somewhat of a range. I'll be very careful with that one, of course, but again, like I said, at the moment, keeping an eye on this little area, because at the moment, I mean, even the 21-day EMA might be just not really important much, very important, I would say, because it's currently just oscillating around it, so it doesn't really carry any huge significance. So long story short, if you're looking for some downside on this one, well, for me, it's straightforward here. A drop below this 93.50 zone would be needed. For the upside, I would need to see a nice good daily candle body staying above this 93.97, 96 territory right here. And then, yes, we could go for some higher levels. Gold. pushing back up above the 1800 levels. So yeah, let's see if we can stay above that area. But again, I mean, if you remember yesterday, I talked about this and I said that yeah, we had a bit of a decline here. We had a bit of retracement, but as long as it stays above this upside line, then there's still a chance for this one to to go higher. Yeah, so for now, I mean, this is in a way pretty straightforward. We're keeping an eye on that 1800 level. If we we stay above it, then it kind of increases the chances for a further move north. Of course, don't get me wrong, we do have the obstacles on the way higher, like for example the current highest point of this week, which is, I think it's around here. There we go. So the 1810 zone. Yesterday, the high of last week is around the 1814 level. So basically, this area could be a tricky one initially, but if we clear that, of course, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could still join in here, and yeah, we could drag this one even maybe towards this 1834 level. So, long story short, keep your eyes on this one. For now, it seems to be a little bit more on the positive side. However, let's see if it stays above that 1800 level. Hey Rod, bad manners. No, it's okay. I mean, so yeah, good morning to you too as well. So I hope I hope you're also having a wonderful start of Thursday. So guys, jumping back into the markets here. So oil, WTI oil. Okay, so this one's beautiful. The reason why. Yesterday, if you saw the economic, if you're watching the economic calendar, yesterday we saw a rise in inventories and the U.S. crude oil inventories, a huge one, and basically kind of showing that the demand kind of declined a little bit, but supply production of course remains kind of at the same level, or even actually getting increased slowly. So that's why we're seeing this little decline. I mean, we saw yeah, like I said, it drifted nicely to the downside. And from the technical side, if you remember, I said that if we drop below this 83 territory right here, then yes, I'll aim for lower levels. But of course, don't get me wrong. I mean, if this continues to move lower, but finds still support somewhere around here near this 80.81 level, together with the 21-day EMA, together with the upside line. So basically, all this area right here, if it finds support here and then rebounds, then well, I mean, we might be just back with the upside. So for now, it's classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. However, if the upside line gets broken, that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers. But at the moment, we need to be very careful here. Yes, we did get a decent up move here. However, is the uprise over? Well, we cannot really say yet, because again, we need that we need to see what's going to happen here, and of course how the in general how the global supply is going to continue ongoing. I mean, if we're going to continue having higher production, but for example, if the prices of oil could start falling due to maybe a lack of demand due to higher inflation, because as we know right now, especially in the Western world, I mean, higher inflation is becoming a little bit of a concern for most central banks, and basically that's kind of driven by supply chain disruptions and making it a little bit more expensive for everybody. So that means that consumers might rethink their spending, and sometimes fuel is one of those that kind of get let's say reconsidered in a way. I do understand maybe it's for someone who needs to drive to work all the time, and yes, that's maybe. But if there are alternative methods, then yes, people might just reconsider something in order to kind of, let's say, to keep the money for for food instead of petrol. So long story short, again, again, long story short, for now, I'm keeping an eye on this upside line. I want to see what's going to happen here with this upside line. If it's going to get broken, then this increases the chances for a possible further move south. But if it doesn't, then, well, we might not be over with the upside. Erica, good morning to you too. I hope you're having also a wonderful start of Thursday. Yes, so Litecoin. Litecoin is, yeah, so the crypto world did decline a little bit. There are some cryptos that did not. That's quite interesting. But the majority of the kind of the popular ones, you can see here, Litecoin, for example, yes, drifted lower, broke the upside line, and well, fell towards some of my levels here, the 176.31. This is what I talked about yesterday, if you remember. And what I said also that I'm going to aim for this area in between the 100-day and the 200-day EMAs. So we managed to reach that. Perfect. Okay, what's next? So for now, in order for me, let's say, to go lower, I would rather stick to yesterday's low near the 171.25. A nice drop below it would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, we would place already the rate below all of the EMAs again. So, so yeah, keep your eyes on that one. For the upside, pretty straightforward. This is where the line needs to be redrawn, and this is what I'm gonna mark now. So in order to go for the upside, a break of this little short-term tentative downside line would be needed. AUD and ZD very quickly on this one. So just I'm gonna continue talking about AUD and ZD this whole week. Basically, I started off on Monday, but in a way, everything's working out according to the plan that I've mentioned, and actually last week I've mentioned AUD and ZD. So AUD and ZD continues to provide resistance. Oh, sorry. AUD and ZD continues to do the same thing. I'm talking about the line continues to provide resistance. This 1.0496. Sorry, went a little bit blank there in my mind. But everything's, like I said, looking quite interesting, because if this continues, let's say, to move lower right now, then yes, this idea that I mentioned of if a possible head and shoulders pattern could play out. But for now, it's let's see how this is going to play out. Again, guys, I mean, I don't want to over speculate on this one too much, but for now, I'm looking at a little bit to the downside on this one. However, otherwise, if it pops above the 108 EMA, I'm gonna maybe kind of scrap this idea of a head and shoulders pattern, and we could see maybe a move higher here. So. So yeah, for now that's the little game plan. USD JPY, so drifted lower, and yes, so yen buying increased. Of course, understandable why, because basically we had a bit of a decline in equities yesterday, and especially in the US ones, and basically that little fear kind of sparked the interest in the yen. So pairs like USD JPY, that we're seeing them a little bit more to the downside, and especially also here in this combination we have the DXY, which is also doesn't really let's say look very strong right now. So, and this is a combination that you get with not a very strong dollar, but a rising interest in the Japanese currency. We might see this pair going lower a little bit. And another thing, again, this is me and my little head and shoulders patterns. I mean, you probably can see it yourself now. So let's see if this is the case. So basically, again, maybe this could be seen as a head and shoulders pattern. Not an ideal one, maybe, but nevertheless could be. But yeah, if you're looking for some downside on this one, a drop below this 113.41 level would still be needed. So that's why I'm gonna consider this idea. I'm still gonna keep an eye on this level, and if we drop below it, then yes, I'll aim for the downside. A little bit, not much. GBP USD. So, oh, and by the way, by a little bit, not much, I mean somewhere initially towards this little target, this one right here, the highest point of February of 2020. 2020, or in other words, the highest point of 2020. And that's roughly around the 112.23 level. GBP USD very quickly on this one. So yeah, so we broke the upside line. We drifted lower. As you can see, we tested the 200-day EMA together with the 21-day EMA. So what's next? Well, I would say at the moment I'm going to take a neutral stand on this one because I don't really like these scenarios, these difficult situations here. For me, I would say in order to go for lower levels, I would like to see a drop below yesterday's low and a drop below all of these the remaining EMAs, the 100 and the 21-day EMA, and that's roughly around that 1.3710 because when it's undecided like this, I mean, that where it kind of raises concerns sometimes. So yeah, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, yesterday we dropped below that 1.3735 level. We moved lower. We aimed for these two EMAs. We got that, so that's great. Now again, let's go slowly, step by step, day by day. The 1.3710 zone, that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. If a nice good drop below it may open the door towards slightly lower levels. EURUSD very quickly on that one. I've mentioned this one a while ago, yeah, so after we broke this downside line, we can get rid of it actually. We started moving flat. We kind of became flat a little bit, started consolidating. Yeah, yesterday we saw a drop below this hurdle, below this 1.4319 zone. If you remember, I kind of I have drawn this retracement, Fibonacci retracement here, but we didn't really reach the 23.6%. Well, that happens sometimes, so let's be honest here. So yeah, not everything always works out nicely. But long story short, for now, I mean, you can see that yesterday we had a bit of a false breakout here. This kind of course, raises a few concerns with me here because although it seems like it wants to go lower, but it's struggling with this area. And also, if oil continues to slide, that's where it could become very interesting here on this pair. We might see maybe a nice little rebound, and maybe this time we could reach that 21-day EMA or this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. For now, I am very careful. I would say even I'm neutral on this one, just to see how this is going to play out. If we fall again below this 1.4319, yes, I'll aim for lower levels. But if we stay above it, then maybe a bit of a push higher could be possible, especially if oil goes to the downside a little bit. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So here, again, to be honest, one of the boring pairs. However, not today, or could be like that because today we do have the ECB interest rate decision, but probably more interesting will be the press conference after, not the decision itself, because the press conference will follow like around 45 minutes. There will be, like I said, it's the press conference that will be a little bit more on the interesting side, because it will be interesting to see what tone they will, in which tone Christine Lagarde will be talking about the economy, and then maybe we could see if a bit of more movement here on this pair. So yeah, guys, I mean, at this point in time, this pair is a little bit tricky. It's continuing to oscillate around that 21-day EMA, but if there is some interesting things happening today, some interesting statements or tone of this, the tone on how she will be talking, how Christine Lagarde will be talking, then yes, that's going to be something to watch for, and we might get a bit more movement in this one because lately it hasn't been on the most exciting side. Sorry, I didn't catch that. False breakout for a long position on what, on EURUSD, or what did you mean by that? Because I didn't quite catch it. Maybe I just kind of flew a little bit too quickly over the instruments, and yeah. Okay, so guys, let's see if if I can get a reply. But anyway, in general, guys, I really hope you found this session useful. I hope everything was fine. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope it was useful, and I hope you stay careful today. Might be an exciting day today. Have your stop losses in place, and yeah, everything will be fine. Yep, CAD. Okay, so EuroCAD. Well, again, like I said, with the EuroCAD, it's a tricky one at the moment. I mean, it's although inside you're thinking, yes, maybe this could be a great opportunity to go maybe a little bit long on this one. Maybe we have a double bottom here, but again, we have seen these scenarios working out in different ways. So be careful, have your stop loss in place, and if if it starts falling again somewhere below this 1.4319 zone, maybe this could be like a trigger, another trigger for more bears to jump in. So be very careful and have your stop losses in place. So guys, I'll have to jump off. I need to make space here for my colleague. He's jumping in after me, but yeah, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, your comments, guys. I really do. So have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.